are now about to witness the strength of street knowledge.
Well, welcome in everybody. It is your diva in knowledge, Lady Mocha, representing Mocha's Cafe de Paris. Also representing my ladies only channel, Mocha's Ladies Lounge. That's where me and the ladies get down. But nevertheless, Mocha's Cafe de Paris, this is my co-ed channel. For men and women, but we're doing a Mocha's Daily Drip, which means I'm most likely going to upload this video to both channels because I feel it's just easier to do so. That way I don't have my subscribers having to ping back and forth. So I'm just going to upload this on Mocha's Ladies Lounge as well as on my Mocha's Cafe de Paris. So what's up, family? Hope everybody's doing good and hope you have a pleasant weekend coming up. So basically, y'all, everybody is in an uproar. All the vloggers are talking about it. All the social media sites, TMZ, Breakfast Club, you name it. It's just really overly saturating all of the airwaves with Diddy's conviction of being sentenced to just 50 months behind bars. For those of you who are not aware of the outcome of the case. So it says a judge sentenced Sean Diddy Combs to 50 months in prison, fined him $500,000, which is like $5 for him, and ordered 5 years of supervised release. Prosecutors have pushed for more than 11 years, while the defense sought 14 months, which would have equal time served. Since Combs has been in custody since September 2024, he will receive credit for over a year already served. I think he's been in there 2 years, so yes, he will get that time will count towards the 4 years. A jury acquitted Combs of racketeering and sex trafficking charges on July 2nd, but convicted him on the 2 lesser counts of transporting former girlfriends for prostitution. So I'm not going to go all into that. I think the majority of y'all have been keeping up to a certain degree, or at least been in the loop as far as all of the charges and him being acquitted for the for the more serious ones. But a lot of people just couldn't understand that, even though a lot of people were so excited that he didn't get acquitted for all 5 charges, but the whole bottom line was the 2 that he did get convicted of, it was still serious offenses. Okay, crime is crime. I mean, yeah, it's better to have to do jail time for a robbery versus doing time for murking somebody. But nevertheless, time is still time. Crime is still a crime. You get what I'm saying? So and crime has consequences. We can all attest to that. Okay, whether you get 5 years, 5 months, nobody wants to do no time in jail or prison. You feel me? So I wanted to basically talk about there is so much more to this than what meets the eye. Yes, he's looking at doing possibly just 2 years. And the truth of the matter is, I was surprised he got what he got. I really was looking for him to do 5 months or a year or something like that. I really did not think he was going to get much of anything. I kind of felt like the judge was going to hold him accountable for something, but I just don't trust the system. And I always feel like, people can be bribed, people can be manipulated. So even though the judge appeared to stand on business, I still was a little skeptical because I know how money works. I know how manipulation works, and the system is very crafty. The judge could sit up here and play hardcore like he's strictly for the books, and the whole time it's just game. And the inmate playing along with it, making it seem like he's so distraught that he's looking at facing his time, and all along it's strategy just to make victims feel like, okay, we're not going to spare any leniency, but at the same time, they can't make it seem like there's some type of motive or some type of manipulation being involved. So honestly, because I know how corrupt the system is, being that I was a part of it, at one point in time, seeing how people could be manipulated over money, people could be bribed, I really didn't think, I felt it was a possibility he probably could have got off, but much to our dismay, he was sentenced to 50 months and 4 years, and again he gets time served, so technically he's probably looking at just 2 years and some change, if that. A lot of people are very upset and angry because people really wanted Diddy to be crucified. They wanted him to be nailed to the cross. And I'm not going to act like I was not one. Only because not just so much just the crime itself with this case and the victims involved. That was a big asset to me. But all of the things Diddy has done overall as a person, as an entrepreneur, as a human being who has so much influence and power over a lot of people's livelihood, I just felt like he did a lot of people dirty. I felt like he not only caused a lot of trauma to his victims, but he caused a lot of trauma to people who were signed to his label. He caused a lot of trauma to people who used to work for him, who was an employee for him. He caused a lot of trauma to people who left their talent in his hands. He caused a lot. Basically, Diddy traumatized a lot of people. So many groups, like Total, like 112. And the fact that Shine had to do 10 years. Diddy has done a lot of dirty deeds that have went unpunished. And it's not so much just this case as a criminal, but his character as a person that never sat well with me. Seeing how he treated people who he knew he had a lot of power and influence over. His arrogance, his sense of feeling invincible, like nothing can hold him down, nothing can stop him. As his song say, can't nobody hold me down. He just felt like he was God, like no one was going to stop him in his tracks, that karma was never going to make him have to answer. And he just really was on his ego tripping thing. That was really my personal intake with Diddy. Like, Diddy needs some type of repercussion for something, because this man has never really been held accountable for all of the things that he has done. And we heard about the Tupac situation. We know that he played a hand in that. Diddy played his hands in a lot of things that he's been able to throw the rock and hide the hand. And of course, because when you have that kind of power and you have that kind of notoriety, you could pretty much get other people to do your dirty work for you. And I believe Diddy had a lot of puppets on his team, a lot of slaves on his team, who he was able to dictate and capitalize off of for his own benefit. But this is the part I want to get into, right? I don't know why everybody's mad about the 4 years, 2, the little bit of the light sentence. I don't know why everybody's so upset. Everybody feels Diddy still practically got off. And my intake on it is he absolutely, positively, without a doubt, he did not get off. He really didn't. And I'm going to break down the elements as to why I feel like he really didn't get over. So I get that everybody was really looking for him to be crucified. Everybody was hoping that that sentence would at least be 10 years or more. Nevertheless, it didn't go that way. However, Diddy did not think he was going to get any time. So you have different people. You have people that's on the fence thinking that, oh, well, Diddy, all he got to do is 2 years. That's nothing. That's federal. Federal is cakewalk. Federal is different from state prison, but prison is still prison. Okay. I did hear the comparisons between federal and prison. Federal is a little bit more clean cut, better food. It's not as the conditions are not as inhumane as a jail or a state prison. But prison is still prison because the purpose of the prison is to impose on your freedom. Okay, which means that you are incarcerated and you do not have access to the outside world. So you have people that are still trying to lighten the sentencing, like as if him doing 2 years that's nothing, because it's a short bit of time. Not only that, he's in the federal, so federal is like, it's like a how can I say, it's like a clean cut, like a upper echelon type of incarceration. Teresa Gouldice, couple other, a lot of celebrities I can't think of right now off the muscle who's done time in federal. And it's not the worst, but it still serves the same purpose as a raggedy, roach infested jail or state prison, which means you still have to watch your back. You still are restricted. You still are going to be away from your family. Prison is prison. So ain't no need for us to try to lighten it up and make it sound like federal prison is a better type of prison. Prison is prison. You get what I'm saying? So this is my intake on it, right? Okay. Diddy has many more troubles ahead. First of all, Diddy was so certain. I can't talk today, y'all. He was so sure and certain that he was going home today. While y'all are clapping and cheering that this man only has a little bit of time, he didn't get the 10, 15 years that everybody was hoping for. This man was hoping for no time. No time. This man was not expecting to be told you have to do 4 years. He thought he was going to be told time served. You get to walk out this jail with your Sean John clothes on, get you a fresh haircut, ride off in your limo, go back home, lay down on your, $20,000 leather sectional sofa, take a real hot shower. Diddy was looking forward to going home, to be in his home. He's been away from home for 2 years. Okay? Anybody who's been in jail can tell you. I don't care if you did 1 day or a year in jail. Something about jail gives you a whole level of respect for home. Only those of us who have experienced it understand it. I did 1 day in jail for a traffic ticket. And I wanted to go home and post bond that same day. Even though my bond had been paid over a ticket that I didn't even know I had lingering, I'm thinking I'm going to get out that same night. They told me, no, I have to wait until the next day, until the judge, gets back in office. And when I tell y'all, that crushed me, because I was ready to go home. I didn't care about what prison. I mean, they had me. I was in jail, basically, not prison, right? But I wanted to go home. Even though I was in a jail that wasn't really bad, they didn't treat me terrible. They didn't put me in a cell with somebody that was crazy, talking out their head. It wasn't the worst jail I was in. But I did not want to be there. Had nothing to do with the officers was professional. The officers treated me respectfully. They did all of that. Okay. I didn't have anyone bullying me or mistreating me or making me feel out of place. It had nothing to do with the fact that I wanted to be home. I did not want to be in that jail. And once my bond was paid early that morning, my husband went and paid it. as I had a traffic ticket inside in Connecticut that I didn't even know about, and it happens, and you don't know until you get pulled over, and they bring these things to your attention. So my husband paid for my bond. He paid my ticket, not bond. My apologies. He paid my ticket. Okay. That way the warrant could be dismissed, and that way my license could be reinstated. He paid it early that morning. That jail took their time getting me out of there. I thought for sure I was getting out that day. Only for it's going on 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock. And I'm like, I know the judge is going home by now. You know, these correctional institutions, they'll tell you the same thing no matter how many times you ask them, when will you be able to leave? When will you be released? They'll tell you the same thing. You know, whenever we're notified, we will let you know. So there's no time to go on. There's nothing specific to go on. And I couldn't understand that until I became a part of law enforcement and realized that I had to deal with it on the other end. I would have inmates come to me in a holding cell for something as simple as, probation violation, and they want to know when they're going home. They want to know when the judge, if the judge is going to see them that day. They want to know, and the whole bottom line is the system does not have time to accommodate to you and to give you anything specific to go on. And the truth of the matter is they really don't care. So I say all that to say this. Diddy thought today was the day he was going home back to his life of luxury, and most importantly, he thought he was going home to be with his children. If you don't know anything about jail will make you have appreciation for the most simplest things. Now, I just did one day and a night, okay? Imagine doing a year or two. Now, for those of you who are career criminals, what I'm saying, you probably feel like that's lightweight because you've been in and out of prison and jail all your life. So you've become accustomed to that type of lifestyle. So it may not mean anything to you, but for people like me and for people like Diddy, who's never experienced having to do time in jail, that is traumatizing. It's very traumatizing. And like I said, I've been on the other side of the fence once I became a correctional officer. And I dealt with people who never been locked up before. And it was so scary for them, even though they was in there for something that was very small. And I knew they was going to only probably have to do like 2-3 days or maybe a week. That does not matter when you are a person that's used to having your freedom. Again, I'm not speaking for somebody who's used to being in and out of the jail system. Maybe you Suge Knight, you used to being in and out of prison, like these rappers today, you know what I mean? They can do their time like somebody who can eat a bag of popcorn, and it's nothing for them, right? But for people who don't normalize prison, who don't have a history of being in and out of prison, or just having the lifestyle of a criminal, you cannot adjust to those type of conditions. We know Diddy is not prison material. Period. Point blank. I don't care what prison you in. You got to watch your back. You have to, tread lightly. You have to still protect yourself. Federal prison, state prison, whatever prison. Prison is prison. Good people are not in prison. Okay? You're going to have to watch your back regardless of what. And in every prison, they got authorities that abuse they got officers that abuse their authority, all of that. He's gonna have to deal with all of that. So my thing is, everyone, Diddy's troubles are just beginning. The man requested to be able to wear his regular clothes during trial. Okay, so by Diddy being a celebrity, you know they're going to privilege him in some form or another. Now, us average Joes, that's not going to happen. You're going to come in with your prison attire, your orange jumpsuit, whatever the case may be. So, the judge granted him that. And the first thing that came to my mind was, everybody felt some type of way, like, who did he think he is? He thinks he's privileged to wear his own clothes. He's an inmate. You know, the prosecutors, everybody looking at it with a side eye, but I look at it differently. I knew the reason he asked for his regular clothes was because in Diddy's mind, he just knew he wasn't going to get no time. He was just that sure. Listen, Diddy had his barber appointment set up. Diddy had his spa appointment set up. Diddy had already made dinner reservations at a top-notch rooftop restaurant. Diddy had made an appointment with his stylist to go pick out some clothes and new shoes, some new gear for him. Diddy was for sure he was going to walk out that door. That's why he wanted those regular clothes. He thought today's going to be the day I'm going to get released, and I'll be damned if I get released wearing the same clothes that I wore when I first got incarcerated. Because you know, in jails, that's what they do. Whatever you first wore when you first came in, they're going to put that right back on you. They just bag it up until you get released, and they give you back your clothes. Now, keep in mind, 9 times out of 10, you're going to put on some weight by then. It's not going to fit you the same way it fit, you know, whatever the case is. So Diddy, being the God that he claims he is, he was not going to come out wearing the same gear he had on when they first arrested him. So in his mind, nah, I know I'm getting out today, so I got to have some fresh gear. You know, I got to have some that I have to look so fresh and so clean. You know, he had his appointment set up, you know, so he can get his hair dyed, to get his Beijing. He was gonna get his, you know, his facial hair trimmed. He already had made plans that he was going to speak at certain college universities and all of that, which was very stupid, because my thing is, you don't need a judge to make you think that you're just that sure of yourself getting out. And not only that, you're supposed to be making a judge think that you really feel bad about what you have done, not making appointments to become a spokesperson because in your mind, you thought you were being released today. And let me tell y'all something. Just like you got everybody around here crushed that Diddy didn't get them 10, 15, 20 years, nobody's more crushed than Diddy himself. Please make sure y'all hit the like button. If you are joining me, if you are hanging out in the chat, any Mocha mod squad, definitely represent with the wrenches. If somebody gets up in here cutting up, acting fool up, I don't feel like that free Diddy mess and all of that other stuff. I ain't got time for it, okay? So use your wrenches diligently. If you're seeing somebody doing the most, hand them that eviction notice and boot them up out of here. You have my full permission to do that. Nobody's more crushed than Diddy right now, y'all. You gotta realize Diddy has always been a mastermind, which is the reason why he was able to manipulate a lot of people to do things outside of their character. You just have some people that are like that. You know, a lot of people don't consider his victim as victims, but you have certain individuals, they are just masterminds. These narcissists, especially if you're not a woman or a man that's spiritually inclined, you can easily fall prey and be manipulated by these demons out here. And Diddy is no exception to the rule. So I just think a lot of his victims was not really spiritually armored. And not only that, they was just as greedy as him. So they stood by and tolerated a whole lot so they could continue to benefit from the crumbs that he was throwing them. And in some cases, some victims were really victims. They did absolutely nothing wrong. They wasn't in it for the money. He took advantage. He saw opportunity and he capitalized off of that. So you can look at it either way. You know, you got some volunteers and then you got some victims. Okay. Nevertheless, this man is not used to being told no. This man is used to having an army of yes men around him. Okay. And that's why he kept going so hard at the judge, constantly pushing to try to get bond. And the judge was not vouching for it. He's very aggressive. People on the outside, he's been pushing them to give letters to the judge. He's very aggressive. You have to realize Diddy is a Scorpio. And I'm not proud to say, because I'm a Scorpio as well. But Scorpios are very relentless. We don't take no easy. But the problem is when we become too relentless that we don't see when we are in a situation that is that we're way in over our head with. You can't challenge everything, and that's the curse of being a Scorpio man, a Scorpio woman, not knowing that certain battles you're not going to overpower. I mean, I had to learn that myself along the way. And by Diddy being the Scorpio that he is, and again, I'm not proud to even represent that he's one of us, but that is a curse that we have. We do not know when we need to let go and just surrender and say, you know what, I'm not going to win this battle. So, Diddy thought he was going home, y'all. Okay, y'all can clap, cheer, pop bottles. Diddy ain't popping no bottles. Okay, now if y'all remember when he first got acquitted of those charges, and everybody thought he was going home, not realizing, okay, yes, he had 5 charges, 3 of the worst ones was dropped, but he still had to face those 2. Diddy literally got on his knees in that courtroom and prayed to God, because he thought then that meant I'm going home. That's why he was praying, because he felt relieved, only to find out, no, you're going to sit here until we figure out what your sentence is going to be. Again, Diddy is a man that's not used to being told no. So this is way more harder for him than y'all could ever imagine. Not that I'm saying this for y'all to empathize or sympathize, but before we start popping bottles and throwing confetti and cheering it on that this man has a light sentence, this is not the outcome that Diddy was looking for. So this is the reason why he kept pushing and pushing and pushing for bond. Even trying to convince the judge that he can move into a location in which he can pay for extra security to keep up with who is coming in and out of the residence. The man was coming up, throwing anything, hoping it'll stick to the wall just so he can avoid exactly what he's having to face, which is jail time. Jail time is jail time. I don't care if it's 1 week. I don't care if it's 1 month. I don't care if it's 1 year. A man that's clean, prestige, and is never used to having to be held accountable, 1 year is a lot for Diddy. I'm not talking about no criminal like Suge Knight or, no big time gangster, people who used to be in and out of the correctional facility system. This man is not prison material. Okay? He's problematic, and he will imprison people like he did his victims, allegedly, we will say, but he's not prison built. The man was crying about maggots in his food, about his food not tasting right, complaining about the temperatures. Now, if you want to know a person who's not built for prison, they will complain about things that real inmates know is part of the program. When I was working at the jail, I had first time inmates coming in there complaining about stuff like it was something that was out of their element. I had an inmate who complained about his toothbrush was too small. Not realizing in prison, everything is standard. You don't get a certain type of toothbrush. Okay. They complain about only getting 1 blanket. Not understanding that, okay, you don't get no 1 blanket. You don't get no extra blanket. You only get 1 blanket, okay? I don't care how cold you are. Unless you already told the nurse during your medical assessment that you got low iron, then she'll put in your profile, okay, this inmate needs 2 blankets. But the average inmate who's not used to being in jail or prison, where the AC is turned down low the majority of the time, where it feels like an igloo, he thinks that he can request an extra blanket. Not understanding, no, you don't get privilege to extra things. The little things that we take for granted, prison, jail, and we'll just say prison, okay? Because jail and prison is totally different things. Prison does not accommodate to your needs. Diddy is used to his needs being accommodated to. This man has celebrity status that if he wants a damn helicopter to bring him a cheeseburger 3-4 in the morning, he could snap his fingers and get that done. 2 years is going to be too much for Diddy. Okay, mind you, federal don't work like prison. Ain't no good behavior, and you only do a year and get out early. That's the only bad part. Federal stands on business. Whatever say you're going to get, that's exactly what you're going to get. So let's consider all of the things that can happen within 2 years during Diddy's incarceration. Because just like everybody was so excited when he only got those 2 charges versus 3, nobody was prepared that he was going to get any time behind that. You had people throwing baby oil in front of the courthouse. I mean, people was really, really like celebrating Diddy like Diddy was their Lord and Savior. So for one, they thought he was free, only to find out he was not free. So a lot of them got upset because they thought Diddy was going to walk out that jail with his new Sean John gear on that he could no longer sell in JCPenney, because nobody wants Sean John's name on anything. They don't even want to be associated to him, which is another thing we're going to go into, right? But nevertheless, people was caping and capping hard, only to find out that the man was not coming home, okay? After he dropped down on his knees and did a Color Purple scene, of God, thank you for delivering me. Thank you for delivering me. I may be black, I may be ugly, but Lord, I thank you for delivering me. He thought he was truly delivered, only to find out, no, you're going back to your cell. Okay, not only that, he was up in the jail doing things he wasn't supposed to do. Just totally out of pocket again, because this is a man that's not used to having to answer anything. He's used to calling the shots. He's used to making the rules as he go. He's not used to following your rules. He's used to making rules and bending them as he see fit, right? So, nevertheless, nobody thought he was gonna get any time. I mean, if y'all would have saw the social media wars, how hard so many people was caping for this man. So many people was saying he's not going to get nothing. And other people like myself said, no, he going to get something. They're going to make an example out of him. He's not just going to walk like that. But this celebrity worship is at an all-time high, to where people will worship these individuals and will get mad, disrespect your channel, disrespect your intake, all because you're not an idolizer. You're not worshiping these celebrities. You look at you're spiritual and wise enough to know that regardless of how rich and famous and successful this person is, he is still a demon. Okay, so we're now fooled and blinded by the fame, by the bling bling. We don't, those of us who are spiritually woke, we don't get impressed by celebrity status and riches and notoriety. None of that stuff means anything to us, because we don't look at things from the top of the surface. We look at things beneath the surface from a more spiritual incline. So let's get into talking about what can happen within 2 years, right? Because there's still so much more in store. You got to realize Diddy got a lot of unfinished business that's still lingering behind the scenes. So here are some of the things that we need to consider. He just started catching what's coming, but let me break down why the real trouble is only beginning. One is legal battles still ahead. Appeals, retrials, or additional charges could pop up. Y'all have to realize the system is a strategy. Sometimes they'll give you just enough, because if they put way too much out there all at once, you can appeal and fight all of that all at once and not have to answer to anything. But the system is very strategic. If they know they're dealing with somebody on the level of Diddy, there's no way they can just they can't throw all of these books at him all at one time. They have to gradually penalize him for any other criminal activities he may have lingering out here, because they can't keep preparing him and covering him for what he's up against, because that puts the system at a disadvantage. So the system is very smart and strategic. We'll get him for this, being that we know he's not going to hardly get much. And later on down the line, we'll bring out the big boomer. We'll bring out that atomic bomb. For now, we just going to throw a couple little fireworks, throw little sparks, and then while he's comfortable thinking, okay, I'm going to just go ahead and do these 2 years. I get to go back home. Wham, bam, boom. Here comes the other stuff. Okay, so before we toot our horn, before we get too excited about him only having to do these 2 years, y'all got to think about all of the other things that the system may have in their back pocket. FBI is smart. They're not going to put all their cards out on the table. They put out just enough, and then they come back later on. They could come back on this man when he only has a year left and retrial him with something else. That's how bad it is, right? So appeals, retrials, or additional charges could pop up. Diddy has done a lot. So we can't act like it's impossible and think that this is all he has to deal with. Diddy's done a lot. So it could be so much more to come behind just this case within itself. Civil suits from victims might drag him into court again. Okay, yeah, he's doing time for the offenses that he's been convicted of, but that's separate from civil suits. These same victims, who I'm sure is upset that he's only got a couple of years, they could be like, you know what? That's cool that he only got the 2 years. Meanwhile, I'm gonna go ahead and file a civil suit. Let me file a civil suit where I can get compensated pretty much like Cassie did. Cassie was just smart. She got her money first and then went for the juggler. Okay? Cassie's boldness gave a lot of people a lot of boldness. Just like they saw she got her bread. If you think these other victims not going to come, and with these greedy lawyers, with these prosecutors who still want to burn them, if you think that they're not going to come after his pockets, especially even more so now that they feel like they really didn't get the justice they was looking for. Now that's going to give them extra confidence to say, hell, let me go ahead and file a civil suit. Okay? It's been victims who did not, criminals did not get the time they wanted. So what they did was went back and got the funds, got the money they wanted. Okay, I couldn't get you with the time, but I'm going to get you with my bank. I'm going to hit you in the bank account. Okay? So, very much so, civil suits are coming. He still has some out here now. Just that this case overshadowed that. But he has a lot of lawsuits, guys. Ladies, gentlemen, he has a lot of lawsuits. A lot of these lawsuits y'all have not heard about because it's been overpowered by this trial. But now that the trial has already made its decisions, we're going to hear about some more lawsuits, some more civil suits. So get ready. And he's not going to be out to stop or prevent these civil suits and lawsuits. He's not going to be out to threaten people to not sue him. He's going to be incarcerated. So these next year or two, people are going to come at him full circle now that he's incarcerated because they'll feel safer. They'll feel safer now challenging him, proceeding with lawsuits because he's not out. He doesn't have his freedom where he can appear to become a threat to someone's life or livelihood. So people are going to know, listen, I only got 2 years. I got to go ahead and get this civil suit in right away. I got to hurry up and file a lawsuit right away. He's only doing 2 years. I got to go ahead now and start my paperwork, start this case before he gets out, because I know this man is a danger to society. Before he's out and free and could take my life, I'm going to go ahead and start filing my lawsuit, okay? So he's going to be dragged into some more civil suits, y'all. Probation, parole, or conditions post-release could be severe. We don't know what else they're going to come up with. What other, especially if he does something else dumb. Because if you think they're not going to watch him while he's in federal prison, if he's on the phone still calling shots and they get recorded calls that he's telling his sons, do this, do that, stop this from going, stop that from going, or they checking his mail in prison and seeing that he's still conducting orders to his goons or trying to like throw little undercover codes. But if the system is able to read in between the lines to see that Diddy is still doing some unjust things while he's incarcerated, they can change. They can change his probation conditions. Like, okay, so you in prison and you still moving foul, you still violating, because remember, he did that in jail. Remember when he was in jail, he was able to influence the inmates to use their phones and use their time so he could make calls and stuff like that. Diddy is a rebel by nature. He's not one to follow the rules because, again, he likes to make the rules and break the rules as he goes along. Don't think when Diddy goes to prison, he gonna stay straight and clean. He didn't do it in jail. Now, prison is more laid back than jail. So if he got comfortable doing that in jail, don't think he's not gonna do some corrupt things that's gonna cause his time to become worse than what it is, because Diddy is hard-headed, he's a rebel, he's arrogant, and he still has this boss mentality of I can do what I want. Okay, so his probation, his release conditions, all of that can change if he does something stupid in prison. He's done it in jail, so I don't put it past him. Next, y'all, this is the other thing we need to keep in mind, even though he's only has to serve these 2 years. Reputation and legacy damaged. Absolutely. Okay, even if he serves time, his image, brand, business deals, endorsements, all may crumble. Now, it would have been one thing if he was found not guilty. Okay, he was found guilty, and on top of that, he has to do 2 years for it. Nobody is going to want to associate themselves with Sean John. They're already running from him now like he done farted. Jay-Z, Forrest Bentley, homeboy with the umbrella. All of his homeboys have disappeared like roaches when you turn the lights on. Okay, so when he does come out, don't think anybody is going to sit down and feel comfortable doing any business ventures with him. Not only because of this bad reputation with him, the reputation that has caused him to have to do this time, but some people just straight up don't like Diddy anyway. So now this gives them that extra push to stay away from him and not even have anything to do with him even more. Okay, Diddy has a lot of enemies out here. People who want to see him fail, people who wanted to see him get crucified. So when he comes out and he thinks he could pick up where he left off, and these big time liquor companies and these big time upper echelon, corporations, nobody is going to want to deal with Diddy, because not only you got convicted, but you actually had to do time. Y'all should, and don't think not on that, people have not forgotten that Cassie video. People look at the man as an abuser, as a criminal. Now with these 2 years, all of that. If he would have got out and got released today and only had to do like and was given like supervised probation, this thing probably wouldn't be as bad. But the fact that he's doing time now on top of being found guilty, nobody is going to want to be associated. No endorsements, no business deals. Nobody is going to be rocking with your boy like that. Now, you may have 1 or 2 flunkies that are desperate, that may try to do something with them, but you have to realize from his perspective, if you are used to having 30 companies under your belt, let's say if you're a millionaire and you got 30 companies under your corporation, right? And you make a bad decision move that Diddy made that has tainted your brand and your reputation. Imagine going from 30 businesses and say all 30 of them businesses is worth $5 million. Okay? Let's say if all 30 businesses was giving you $5 million. So, doing my calculations, Uh, all 30 businesses times 5. Okay, so basically, going from 30 companies that have been giving you 5 million each. Imagine out those 30, 25 of them drop you, and you got 5 left. Look at how much money. Now the people on the outside that's used to seeing you rich, they thinking you still good because you have those 5 companies still sticking with you out of 25 that left you, right? But out of those 5, now here comes one saying, "Oh, you know what? I really thought we could still work with you, but this isn't a good look for the direction we're trying to go." Now you down to 4. Okay, out those 4, it may be one of those companies who been sick of your ass anyway, cause you always been mean, nasty, extra. Always get our corporation a hard time, so they'll just come up with another excuse just so they can drop you. They'll use what you did just so they can drop you. When the truth of the matter is, they just couldn't stand dealing with you, but because you was paying them so much money, they was willing to tolerate you. But now that you're not getting, they're not getting the money they used to get because of your brand being stained. Now they know shit. Now we ain't even got to play nice and kiss up to you just for the dollars because you ain't making the dollars. Now that puts you down to 3 companies. Do y'all get what I'm saying? I ain't had time to do no math calculations. So anybody in the chat, help your girl out or whatever with the 30 companies and they all paying you 5 million a piece. And basically what happens when you start getting all these corporations and stuff to walk away. That's a lot. You got to realize billionaires, millionaires, what we feel like is not a loss is for them. So what? You good. You still got 25 million in the bank. What is 25 million when I'm used to having 300 million? Just on the basic scale. You know, if your paycheck is $2,000 every 2 weeks, to go from that to another job that's only paying you $800 for somebody every 2 weeks, for somebody who's probably only getting $300 every 2 weeks, that's a lot of money for them. Like, well, damn, you getting $800 every 2 weeks. I only get 3. No, I'm used to getting $2,000 every 2 weeks. Now does that make sense? So it's a lot of losses in this. A lot of endorsements, a lot of business deals, a lot of brands, a lot of opportunities are going to start blocking him. Music charts, streaming platforms, collaborations might drop off. The only person that may still collaborate with Diddy is Stevie J. Okay? For the most part, it's not too many people in the music industry that's going to take a chance and deal with Diddy. They're not going to want to be signing him. They're not going to want to join forces with him. He already had a reputation of scamming his artists, but you went from a scamming producer to now on top of that a woman beater. Now on top of that a sex trafficker alleged. All this other stuff. All of that has been added to on top of to the reputation he already had. Nobody's not going to feel comfortable, like, you know what I mean, doing any business with him. It's just not going to happen. You know what I mean? And then face it, you got a lot of women who run businesses and corporations and organizations. If a woman is over a corporation or organization, she's not going to want any parts of Diddy. Okay, now you have some men who still kind of have the egotistical attitude where they still see Diddy as a king. Like, you know, the women who got what they got, they deserved it. But you got to realize we're in the world now, a lot of women running stuff. You know, not only that, you got some men that are married to women that may intervene in that. Like, I don't think you should support him because of what he does to women. Not only that, you have men who have daughters. You know, just the fact they got women in their family that they care about. They don't even want to stomach being in the company of men like Diddy. Real men who don't like women beaters, they're not going to want to even affiliate or be in a company with somebody like Diddy, okay? People may distance themselves from him. Hell, they're already doing that. Where's Jay-Z? Is Jay-Z in the building? Where's Jay-Z, y'all? Where's Stevie J? Stevie J didn't put no money on the books for Diddy. Come on now. And everybody who was down with Diddy, Chris Brown, everybody who hung out with him, everybody who did the freak offs with him, I don't really hear none of them coming forward saying Diddy's a good guy. I know what he did is wrong, but he's a good person. Nobody's not vouching for him. For everybody to be so mad at everybody who's not supporting him, why are y'all not upset with the celebrities who didn't come forth to defend him? Why are y'all mad when us content creators or people in the comment section got something to say about your boy Diddy, but nobody's going to none of his celebrity friends and saying like they're not going to Meek Mill, they're not going to all of the people who was rocking with him, French Montana. Nobody's not checking none of his friends and saying, dang man, not near one of y'all got nothing nice to say about him, but y'all want to come for us low budget content creators, and y'all want to disrespect each other in the comments over somebody having an opinion over Diddy, but y'all not saying nothing to his celebrity friends. But we continue. Let's move forward. Please hit that like button, by the way, if you have not already done so. Psychologically, 2 years means long time separated from family, life changes, losses. Do y'all realize how much can happen in 2 years? God forbid if something happens to one of his children. God forbid, listen, he got sons out here who got lawsuits pending against them. Who's to say that they not going to come after his sons now that they got him out the way? I know his son King, his exact replica of him, he got lawsuits, people coming for him. Christian got lawsuits, people coming for him. It's a lot that can happen while he's doing those 2 years. He got daughters out here. What about these men that may capitalize and take advantage of his daughters like he did with other women? They know their dad is doing 2 years. You gotta have these dudes that got ill intentions that can get in the ear of their daughters because they're at that age where they're still young and they can easily be manipulated. I'm sure they want a boyfriend. I'm sure they want a love life. I mean, they're beautiful girls. So it's going to be dudes that's going to get in his daughters' heads, and he's not out to father them. And anybody who has daughters knows that sometimes when your daughters get caught up with the wrong dudes and stuff like that, you really can't do much to talk them out of it. You get what I'm saying? So he don't know how his kids' lives are going to change. His health, he don't know how his health is going to change, all of that. So much can go wrong within 2 years, okay? He don't know how his family's going to change. He don't know what other situations his sons may get themselves into, no matter how much he probably has tried to coach them. Don't do nothing stupid, stay out the way. Kids are still going to be kids. They're young adults. They're going to make decisions, so he's going to have to deal with that. Adjusting to prison life, the mental strain, the enemies behind the walls. It's so many. Listen, it's somebody who, you got psychos, right? You got somebody who wants to hit Diddy just so they could be known as that dude that got him. Now in federal prison, I'm not sure if they're gonna put him in a nice little cozy suite or whatever the case may be or whatever, but he's gonna have enemies. Some of these officers are corrupt. Could set him up to have his cell door unlocked, so a group of guys can go in on him and beat him to death, and I'm not speaking ill will. Again, this is just hypothetically. Prison is prison. So I'm not saying nothing that does not happen, right? This man is used to being in his own home, in his own comfort, okay? I'm sure there's nothing in Diddy's mansion that is the size of his cell. I bet his pantry where he keeps his food is bigger than the cell in which he's going to be residing. Prison does a lot to the mind. To be caved in those four walls without one little window. And again, this isn't a guy that's used to being in and out of prison. We're not talking about a Suge Knight. Okay? We're talking about Diddy. A man who likes getting manicures and pedicures and full-time, lifetime membership to Beijing Dye. Okay, this man is used to having his own barber. He's used to his freedom. He's used to being able to travel and come and go and pretty much do as he pleases, be around his family, you know. Prison is a totally different element from that. He's going to have to adjust to being in a small, closed-in space, not having access to seeing his children like he wants. And let's not mention no free coughs, because in federal prison, you're not allowed conjugal visits. No bootay for 2 years, okay, unless he getting some from in the inside. Health risks, safety issues, threats. Prison is its own beast. It is. Officers don't care. Inmates don't care. And again, everybody's saying federal is better than state, but you still got to watch your back. Hopefully nobody don't put something in his food to make him sick, you know. Hopefully there's not an officer there that has a disliking for him that can just make things complicated, make his time hard to do, you know. Other things, financial and business consequences, right? As I mentioned before, lawsuits, fines, legal fees could bankrupt or severely hurt his businesses. Listen, while he's doing that time, everybody who has been financially impacted by him having to do 2 years, I guess, so far in jail, they're going to probably want to be compensated in other ways. I mean, just like he's greedy, he probably hired soldiers on his staff to be just as greedy as he is. You know, people filing legal fees, or just all kind of stuff that he's going to, as far as financially, assets may be seized, company shut or tarnished. Now, we know that he got off for the RICO, right? So they was not able to garnish or seize his properties, but we don't know what other angles they can come. If he owes the IRS any money, they could come after him. One thing about the feds don't like to lose. They will find something to be able to seize his assets and his property. They got 2 years to try to dig and make it happen, and they very well can. So far he dodged that bullet, but you just never know. Contracts voided, people pulling money out. Just all of this is the financial ruining of him having to serve this time. Gives people an advantage to be able to hit him in the pockets for all kind of stuff. He's not out here to contest it. Now, granted, his lawyers and all of that would, but he's not out here to really see what's going on. He could only go by what people tell him, and that's risky. Next, another reason why even Diddy's release won't be real freedom is because public opinion doesn't reset. Okay? Privacy is powerful. Once people know everything about you, now they can use it against you. We know he's a woman beater. We know he's a manipulator. We know he's not this tough guy that he made us out to believe. We've witnessed so much of his weaknesses during this whole ordeal. You know, this tough ego guy. No one scares me. No one can get the best of me. We see that he can get shook. Now people know how to come for him because he has revealed his weaknesses throughout this whole situation, right? Even when he's out, when he gets out, public memory, social media, the court of public opinion will haunt him. Who's going to want to sign contracts with Diddy? Listen, women, we are big time sponsors. If we like you, we will spend money on you. What women are going to support him? He can't just depend on the man to financially sponsor him. He's going to need women, consumers, supporters, to invest into his businesses and his brand as well. Not when the majority, millions of women witness what you have done to one woman. Like I said, it's a lot of women that have climbed the corporate ladder now. It's not just a man's world like it used to be, right? You want to keep yourself clean so you can get business from not just certain people, but from anybody who's in the position to be able to support your brand. That infamy doesn't vanish. People will always associate him with what he did. People's going to always see Diddy as Diddy, the diddler. Not Sean Combs, the entrepreneur. Not Sean Combs, the CEO. Not Sean Combs, the business mogul. When people see him now, they're going to see him in the negative light. And he cannot change that. Now you got to feel flunkies. He could pay them off, pay them $1. You know, he'll be able to still get over. He'll still be able to get by with some things, but getting by with 2 million compared to being able to getting by with 10 million, it hit different, because now he's not going to have that same leverage of being able to manipulate like he used to, because we've seen so much of him in this light, and it has not been good. We've seen more bad than good. So nobody's going to look at Sean Combs. People's going to look at Diddler. That's what he is now. Power dynamics and influence loss. Hit the like button, y'all, if y'all have not hit it. I so appreciate y'all. Thank you for coming in if you're just coming in. Okay. Yep, I'm almost I'm over an hour. Try to wrap this up. He might lose influence in the culture, music industry, politics. He's not going to be able to run for governor, run for mayor. Who's going to? I mean, yeah, Trump got away with that. But he's not going to have the same influence. He does not represent hip hop in a positive light. Now, I will say, he's still got some bangers out there that I still listen to. He's still got some artists that was on his label that I will still support. But I will not support Sean John. Not that I'm all of that, but even if somebody wanted to give me a free Sean John t-shirt in the street, I don't want it. I don't want his name nowhere near me. He put a bad taste in the culture's mouth. And you'll have, like I said, a few flunkies will work with him, but not much. Especially those who stand a lot to lose. You're not going to see Jay-Z rock with him. You're not going to see Chris Brown rock with him. Anybody who's really in a good seat, they're not going to rock with Diddy like that. They're just not going to. Jay-Z got his own troubles. He's definitely not going to do it. Kanye is kind of crazy, so I don't put it past him. Kanye may even go on vacation with Diddy after this. Kanye is a whole different, he in a whole nother lane. Allies and associates may turn their backs to protect themselves. Absolutely. Everybody's going to definitely have their guards up when it comes to Diddy. Nobody is going to sleep comfortably around him. And it's unfortunate, y'all. A lot of this, he pretty much brought him to himself. Yes, he's gotten 2 years. We know that's nothing, okay? He's sentenced to 50 months, 4 years and 2 months. Been in prison for 2 counts of arranging interstate transportation for prostitution. He already served 12 months. I think it's about 2 years, which will be credited towards the sentence. I'm not sure if it's a year or 2 years. I think he's been in there 2 years. Along that, he was fined $500,000, which I already told all of y'all that before. After prison, he must abide by strict controls. I mean, Diddy, the devil who likes to rebel and buck the system, he's going to have to be on his best behavior when he gets out. Okay? Somebody's waiting for him to slip. Somebody's waiting to pull a rug from up under his foot. So he's going to have to tread lightly. He can't come back out here being egotistical and invincible and act like he can say and do what he wants. Listen, everybody who's letting him freak off parties, that's of no more. That's not going to happen. You're probably not even going to catch Diddy, in a sex store. And you're probably not even going to catch him in those places anymore. and they may even put that on his part of his restriction. He's probably not going to be able to enter any sex stores. He probably going to be restricted from getting baby oil. That's probably going to be part of his probation. You cannot purchase any more baby oil. It's sad. Prosecutors may file appeals motions to vacate or other challenges. This can drag out legal limbo. You know, his case already involves contested charges and previous bail denials and stuff. And like I told y'all, civil lawsuits, claims for abuse, anything. Even if criminal immunity or double jeopardy applies, civil suits can enforce damages, reputational restrictions, restraining orders. Yes, he can't get charged twice for the same thing, but we don't know if it's other shit that he hasn't been charged for yet. Okay? And it's more than one way to do time. Your reputation. Nobody wants to do business with you. You know what I'm saying? Serving time is really just time. Safety, health, inmate politics, facility conditions, parole hearings, all of that. Prisons have rigid systems. Freedom is relative inside. Okay. Crimes never prosecuted. Like I said, the stuff that has not come out yet. Cold cases. They've been circulating about that Tupac thing, right? Statute of limitation issues or new allegations may surface. This nigga got 2 years for new allegations to pop up. Many public figures with troubled histories continually face new claims. This may not be over. Even after release, restrictions, monitoring, public scrutiny, limitations, and business endorsements. Many convicted public figures struggle to fully return to prior life. He'll get credit for time served, so he's only lived part of it. Well, yeah, that's true, but credit doesn't erase the remaining sentence nor the limits after prison. Some say he was only convicted on lesser charges, so the worst is behind him. The fact that more serious charges were dropped or thrown out doesn't mean he's immune to other claims, civil suits, or future prosecution, depending on jurisdiction and statute of limitations. Some people saying 2 years is lighter than people thought, but still a serious sentence. Absolutely. Part of your narrative can acknowledge that the sentence is significant, even if the public expected more. Some people say he'll appeal, maybe win reversal or reduction. True, but until that happens, the constraints on him remain real. Okay, so y'all, what is y'all opinion on this? Okay, do y'all think now that he's only doing these 2 years, he's good? He's free after he does his 2 years? Do y'all really think he's happy just doing 2 years? Or do y'all think Diddy really was looking forward to not having to do a damn thing? Y'all may be happy that he's doing 2 years. Diddy ain't happy that he's doing any years. Diddy didn't want to do no time. He wanted to go home so he can dye his hair with his Beijing process kit. That man want to go home and get some real steak and shrimp. Not no honey buns, not no ramen noodles. And I did hear in Federal their food is better. It don't matter. This man is used to a chef. Now y'all low budget ninjas, y'all might be happy with federal prison compared to state. This man don't want to do no time. This man ain't prison material. That's for them thug ninjas, like Young Thug and all of them. Like, that's not for Diddy. Diddy is not on that thug level like that. Okay? He's not built for prison. All right? This man is used to a life of luxury. Okay? He's used to freedom, doing what he want to do, spending money. I ain't want to spend money. Living it up, turning it up. This is a culture shock. So, maybe after this, he'll come out more humble. Maybe he will invest into other men that can benefit into the world that was once his. You know, maybe he could pass that baton on. As far as his kids, he better make sure they stay straight for 2 years. Because just like rapper Boosie is facing time, his son is facing time too, Tootie Raw. So, the sins of a father fall to his son. You got a bunch of sons out here, Diddy. They may start wilding out for real because they know you're not coming home. So they may wild out of depression or trying to escape reality. But, you know, there's no telling which direction they could go. Okay? Anyway, y'all, leave your opinion below. I know it's been long, but I thank y'all for staying on this ride with me. But it was so much that need to be covered. Love y'all to pieces. Hit the like button. Let me know y'all opinion. Is Diddy happy with these 2 years? Yes, we know he could have got 15, 20. But is this what Diddy really wanted? Make sure y'all hit that like button. And I will be talking to y'all soon. Be blessed. Take care.